Want to see how well these tools work? Then this video's for you. Hi, Marie here from Pottery Crafters. In this video, I'm going to show you a few things that these Xiem tools can do. When I went to ClayCon West earlier this year, they had a Xiem booth. Xiem is spelled X-I-E-M, so I'm sure most potters are familiar with that name. They had so many tools there, I felt like a kid in a candy store. It was awesome. This tool in particular I fell in love with, and I couldn't wait to try it. It's the Xiem scoring and joint smoothing tool. So I'm going to share how it works with you. Then I met the owner, Kevin. He was really great and informative and helpful on all of the tools. He actually gave me this tool, the Rim Rib. So I'm going to try this one out also and see how well it works. I'll start with the Rim Rib first and see all the cool things it can do. I like how the Rim Rib has different profiles and sizes on all three sides, on each end. This maximizes its use without needing to switch tools. It has a variety of sizes to fit the different rims. The 13/64, which should be 5.2 millimeters, not 1.2. It's a misprint. I checked the conversion chart. It's something to be aware of. Then the 1/4 or 6.4 millimeters, and the 5/16 or 8 millimeters, 3/8 or 9.5 millimeters, and the 7/16 of an inch, 11 millimeters. On the other side, it's a 1/2 inch or 12.7 millimeters, 3/4 of an inch or 19 millimeters, and 7/8 of an inch, 22.2 millimeters. That's a pretty good array of sizes. On this end, you can create a texture or design. And this side, you can also create a different texture or design. This side, you can create different textures on your pottery. That's pretty cool. There's a lot you can do with this tool. Let's go check it out. Place my thumb and index finger of my left hand on the rim while keeping the rib steady on the rim. I'm using the 5/16 inch or 8 millimeter size on this just thrown cylinder. It took off the extra clay nicely. It did create a smooth rim on the wet clay. Now on leather hard clay. This is a thinner cylinder, so I'm using the 13/64 inch or 5.2 millimeter. I have to be careful to keep it steady so I don't gouge the rim. It did leave a nice, smooth, clean rim. Now I'll try this tip to add some lines to the side. Left a few nice lines, but you have to make sure that your hand is steady. Now I'll try the smooth grooves and see what patterns it will produce. I can't press too deep onto the clay because the cylinder was thrown on the thin side. I think it makes a good pattern, as long as you keep the tool steady. Now I'll try the tip of the rim tool on wet clay. This one was also thrown on the thinner side. I think it turned out really good. I like the piece. Now you can't make a foot with the rim on the wheel when the clay is wet. However, you can turn the cylinder upside down when it's leather hard and make a foot. I use the 3/8 of an inch or 9.5 millimeter for the foot. Turned out pretty good. Nice smooth edge. Now I'll make a gallery for the lid on this jar. Hold the rim with my thumb and index finger. Using the 3/8 inch or 9.5 millimeter opening, place the rib on the rim and move the rib inward on the jar. Make sure your hands are steady. So fast and easy. Very nice. This rib makes a great gallery. I'm really impressed. Now I'll put a lip on the edge of the lid using the tip of the rib. Well, that worked nicely. Let's try the rib on the hand-built clay. I'll use the 1/4 inch or 6.4 millimeter opening. Using my Nidec banding wheel, slowly rotating the rib around the bottom of the cylinder to create a nice smooth foot. I think it turned out pretty good. I'll use it again on the foot of my hand-built pottery. Now I'll try it out on the rim of the cylinder. Nice and slow and steady. The clay is in a harder leather hard stage, so it does take a little longer for it to smooth out the rim. It is best to use a banding wheel when doing this. You can hit the like button anytime during this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon to get notified whenever a new video comes out. I think it turned out pretty good. Definitely use it on my hand-built pieces. Now let's try the Xiem scoring and smoothing tool. Now this tool can be used for cutting clay also. Now I don't have to grab another tool for cutting and scoring. The all-in-one tools are a little handier. I think it did a good job on cutting the clay. Let's see how it scores. I do like the depth of the scoring tool. It's not too deep, so it won't gouge into the clay as much. Score around the bottom and add the slip. I always like to use the same clay for the slip. I have a video on 21 hand building tips that you can check out. I left the link for you below in the show notes. I like how the smoothing tool works. Now this is the part that I was looking forward to when I first saw the tool. You don't want to open up the clay too much because the clay may crack. And having the scoring tool on an angle is a big plus. It gets right in there. And it doesn't gouge too deeply into the clay. And put some slip in between there. Press it together. And use the smoothing tool. I do like the handle. It's comfortable in my hand as I'm smoothing out the clay. And I'm not seeing it marking up the clay. Let's see how this scoring tool works on larger clay surfaces. Because this tool is on an angle, I can get in there and mark the area that I want to score. Now the surface where the scoring tool is serrated is 3/4 of an inch, so you can cover a good amount of area in a short amount of time. And I do like that it doesn't score too deep into the clay. Apply the slip. It works great for scoring large pieces of clay. Now I'll see how it works when I attach handles. With the pointy tip, I'm able to mark where I want the handle to be, and I have more control over where I want to score because it's on an angle. Apply the slip. Then I can finish up with the joint smoothing tool. Because it is stainless steel, I have to be careful that I don't accidentally gouge into the clay. I think it does a very nice job smoothing the joints in the clay. And the same with the handle on this jar lid. The tip of the scoring tool marks it. And then I have more control over scoring. I'm pleased by the way the joint smoother does smooth it out nicely and doesn't leave marks in the clay. I think it works nice for removing marks too. Overall, I'm very happy with this tool. Well, there you have it. I hope I've helped you in choosing some more new cool tools. Whether you're creating smooth rims or adding textures or patterns to your pottery or gallery for your lids, this tool works really good. I found that I've used it a lot since I got it, and I think you'd really like this tool as much as I do. This scoring and joint smoothing tool works really well. I was really impressed with it. I was excited when I got it, and I really loved to use it. But this one is my favorite. It covers the larger areas pretty well, doesn't dig in too deep into the clay. And my favorite part is getting it into those tight little spaces for scoring. And I love cutting with it also. It works really well. So it's actually a 3-in-1 tool. I think both of these tools are a great addition to my toolbox, and I bet they will be for yours too. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon whenever a new video comes out. You watching helps me to make more videos, like this one. Now head on over to my 21 wheel throwing tips or my 21 underglazing tips. If you do, I get to play with more clay. Until next time, let's stay dirty